So
So here's what I was thinking is like if you could tell me kind of because I don't I don't do psychedelics. I haven't really been there. So if you could tell me kind of like why you think that you're drawn to them, and then kind of just like mainly connect like why is it a thing for you to begin with? Like why do you
like
do
now, or why was it back
just
then?
like back then in general?
Back then it was to
Why
get
do you do
fucked
that?
up.
To get
Back then
fucked
it was
up.
to get fucked up, see sounds, hear colors, and just experience something I'd never experienced before. Getting fucked up.
I think most people like me, or not most people, but people like me would like have call it like just a fear of that. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary that you're taught drugs are bad. Okay, so like how why did you not have that to get through? Do you think why
Oh,
wasn't it scary to you?
well, because by the time I did try acid, I'd already had 14 friends commit suicide. And so I started getting fucked up to just get away from all that fucking pain that I had no idea how to fucking deal with. And
Sorry, how old would you say you were?
18.
That's heavy. So the story though that I want to focus on. Not to be insensitive, bro.
But
You know I have a lot of care there. I just
that's where all my drug use stemmed from, was from that trauma.
heavy loss,
Yeah.
heavy loss in a very dark
And
way.
so psychedelics not only took me out of that fucking frame of mind and that cloak of heaviness, mental heaviness that you're shrouded with,
Yeah,
even without that kind of trauma as a teenager. The pressures of trying to fit in, the pressures of school, the pressures of your parents not fucking understanding, you know, that alone creates that fucking dark feeling,
yeah.
and it just grows from that point. And
Somebody,
and psychedelics were the only drug I found that could take me out of that place and actually give me a sense of happiness, joy, pleasure, like honest pleasure, not this superficial being drunk pleasure. That was fun too, don't get me wrong. That was fun too.
it's different.
But
Something that if I can throw this in here, somebody told me something I really liked because it helped me feel better about myself. Because you know that there's like kind of like there's always somebody better at you at sports or something. There's always somebody worse off in my mind. There's a darker case.
yeah,
So knowing that, it was really hard for me to come to terms like with my own pain. And then somebody I met said like an injury is an injury, and I really like that because it hits us differently. We're built different, and it
yeah,
made me matter too. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to have gone through like 14 suicides to hear a relation point of like dark hopelessness. You
right.
know what I mean?
That
Like
despair, that
because I just don't want you to go through that, right? So I can
right,
feel that. Um,
and the self-loathing that comes with it too. You know, like why the fuck didn't I see it? Why didn't I see those signs?
what could I have done or
Yeah,
something? Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the self-loathing that comes from that.
Can
You
you
really
can you
beat
like give
yourself up.
clarity on that? Because I feel like you kind of understand that better now, as like because you're kind of more mature and thought out and an adult and stuff. But like you know that that's like a falsehood, right? Like
Yeah,
you know that you were fine.
yeah.
It's just a bad thing that
It,
happened,
it
right?
was it was ego, a negative ego, but it was an ego that I decided I wasn't, that I decided that that's who I was, what I was.
Over time, you feel like you got like a healthier ego.
I think, honestly, I think I'm pretty close to just letting my ego go.
Really?
I think so. Because I don't care what people think, you know. I wear what I want to wear. Don't get me wrong, there's still some choices made from ego.
So,
But I don't think it's that big a part of my life anymore.
yeah, it's like maybe like even if it's not like what I'm saying, it's like an evolution of the thing. It's kind of like different now.
Kind of like your friend's daughter fucking giving you the fucking what for no drip.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Who the fuck is she to decide what drip is?
Well, that's what's really funny is
You
like I
know.
actually like kind of appreciate it because it's really rare that you can have somebody that is like so unabashedly themselves. Admittedly, like somebody who like I didn't give a shit. Like that's
No,
so important is
but
that
that's
story, just so the
what's
audience
sad is
like can
that
know that part
her
of like
ego. What's sad is her ego gets bigger the more that she can just
yeah,
throw out those negative
yeah,
fucking comments to try to break somebody down. And that didn't work for you. It didn't work that way on you for her, you know. But any other fucking kid going to school would have fucking crushed them. And her ego gets bigger every time she does that.
yeah. And I would say like that is kid brain, not
Mm-hmm.
understanding, self
Yeah.
sabotage, kind of whatever. So like I said,
But we
like
figure it out.
just for the sake of the audience, I just gotta throw in like I didn't give a fuck. That was a safe space. She can
No.
say whatever the fuck.
Absolutely.
She could do it tomorrow. I would laugh like I did because I went outside, laughed, and had a cigarette. Said to my friend, by design, like you know what I mean. Like I look how I do, cuz. But hey, man, thanks for like just for the sake of like sometimes I feel like for myself I don't come off right. Like I really appreciate that like strong preface, and you know that I'm like really sensitive and I really like care about those things. So I don't want to be like, all right, next topic. But like we're gonna do like a story today.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted a little bit of a preface of, like obviously if we started like here's a story, that'd be like, how do you go from 0 to 1,000, bro? A hit of acid is daunting. So today's story is
32.
it's 32 hits of acid. What that was like, basically, just whatever he wants to tell. He's gonna tell the story of like what it was like, the experience, just important deets, and kind of let it go.
Well,
And it's like you gotta do some math. 28 plus 4. So, anyways, I'm
this
just
trip
gonna
was a fucking month long. Like a month long.
just dive in, man. Tell me all about it. I'm all ears now.
Well, the first day that we all fucking ate it was amazing. We dosed out at like 10 at night. By midnight, there was 30 of us in a trailer frying balls up in Soda Springs.
What kind of trailer? Like camper trailer?
Just
Or like
a
house
wobbly
trailer?
box, yeah.
Okay.
A house trailer. And yeah, we ended up 30 people deep in this thing, all of us tripping balls.
How do you procure that much acid? Just straight from the factory kind of
Just,
thing? You know what I mean? Like
just
you
know
know the guy?
people. Grateful Dead was big back then. They were still alive and touring, so
Acid followed them, right? That was a big thing.
that was their thing. Yeah. So if you wanted acid, you just went to a Grateful Dead show, get it in the parking lot, and then see some good music at the same time. But yeah, we tripped all night. Decided about 3 o'clock in the morning we'd go for a drive. So we packed me and two of my friends in the car with us and went up to these fucking red cliffs. It was a full fucking moon too. But yeah, we got out and fucking tripped around and walked and fucking explored and got lost and did that for about an hour and a half because the sun started coming up shortly after we got back in the car. But almost hit some deer that I thought were a hallucination. My buddy's all, "Are you gonna slow down for those fucking deer?" I'm all, "What? He's all, "Those are fucking deer." I'm all, "Arr!" Slammed on the fucking brakes. I'm all, "Holy shit, I thought those were just hallucinations." And my other friend, she's all, "Me too." I was like, "See?"
So if I can like backtrack a little bit, I don't know what it's like. And you've been there around the block a
It's
couple times, but so like
so colorful.
can you like break down just like some I don't know like small specifics? So like how did you take it? Obviously there was like a story about eyes, and then like
So
after that, like if you can tell me
I had
if you
three
can kind of tell
sheets.
me like how it begins, you know, like what is it like? Because you can operate obviously, and you can kind of do
Uh,
some normalcy or something, but maybe for a
this
minute you
this trip is
can't, or
so fucking scattered, and like everything is, all my memories are misplaced
okay.
in this whole fucking month of frying balls.
Because I know we're starting on that first night. That's what
And
I wanted to like begin with. Like I don't know what it's
that's the
like. So like,
best.
what was the
The
onset?
first 3
You
days,
got 30 people. Everybody drops.
yeah,
What does that look like? Is that putting
it looks like a rave.
like a little like a cracker on your
It
tongue?
looks.
What's
Well,
going
no,
on?
they all just got one little square, one hit.
And you just scooped up the leftovers. How'd that work?
Oh, well, I had to let the town know that I had acid and that it was in town for a day or two. And so I dosed all these people out. Um, Dosed them all out for free. Uh, but yeah, just cut up a sheet of paper or a sheet of acid, cut a bunch of single hits out, and just dosed everyone out. A lot of them stayed until it kicked in, and then once it kicked in, they left. Um, but yeah, I for some reason thought it would be a good idea to take a quarter fucking square of this uh, fucking California sunshine blotter is what it was. It was one big giant sun on the sheet, and it was made out of little suns that made this whole big sun. It was amazing. It was amazing. But yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to just take that whole square and fucking throw it in my mouth, which ended up being 25 hits. And then took another 3 spot, another 3 hits. And my buddy Matt was all, "Dude, you should throw some of that in your eye." I'm all like, "Really? You could do that?" He's all, "Well, you might go blind."
Is it with the hits? Is that kind of like edibles or mushrooms, where it's an ingestion
Yeah.
period, or does it hit you faster?
No, it takes you know, everybody's different.
It's kind of like that though. It's got to like hit your
It
system.
yeah, it's got to work its way through.
Okay. Because I'm assuming the eye drops aren't like that.
No, it's almost instant in the eyeballs.
So what'd you do?
Um, I put 2 in each eye, 2 hits of paper, and then I closed my eyes and kept my eyes closed for about, I don't know, it seemed like 5 minutes, but
Wait, you put paper like
yeah,
under your under your
yep,
eyelid and just
under
like
my
shut your
eyelids.
eyes
Yep,
with like the hit on paper? Dude, that's gnarly.
yep. Tears just started running.
Did it
I'm
scratch
all
your eyes?
fucking catching these fucking tears with my tongue and shit. You know what I mean? Not letting that shit go to waste. And like I said, it felt like 5 minutes. I want to say it was 5 minutes, but honestly, it could have only been like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. After I opened my eyes, I took them out, took the 2 hits out, and put them in my mouth, and away I went. Away we went.
Yeah. And then that was kind of like you're saying that happened, and then what you
Yeah.
said, like you guys went out.
That was
You,
after that was after it started to kick in. We hadn't peaked yet. We hadn't peaked yet. Um,
so you almost hit a deer. Sorry, I did. So
Almost hit a
I'm
couple
I'm
deer.
I'm caught up now. You thought you didn't see a deer, did see a
I thought they
deer,
were a
couldn't
hallucination.
didn't
My
know.
friend, she thought they were a hallucination, but Matt was the only one who didn't drop acid. I don't know why he wasn't driving. That would have been a good idea. So anyway, we head back into town, and I remember that the geyser there in town goes off every hour on the hour, so I'm like, dude, we should go over to the geyser. It's gonna go off soon. And we ended up over there. The fucking geyser went off, and water as it hit the fucking ground of this just limestone covered fucking ground. It was so many sparkles and like they looked like diamonds. The water beadlets looked like diamonds everywhere. And the tracers that were coming off of us, off the water, fuck, it was phenomenal.
Is that so? I forgot the director that does it, but like how they make like the white or the light like kind of go in a line like a wave. Is that what you mean? Tracers or
So you know what a strobe light is?
yeah.
You know how when you walk it looks like
Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
that's what tracers are.
Okay.
And we had tracers off things that weren't even moving. Like chairs were breathing and fucking even tracers and shit. So cool.
What's that like as a shared experience? Were you guys kind of just like this is dope, or
That's
was it
why
more
me,
of like a feeling
me and
thing?
Cherie actually we met up on our trip, and it started with us not believing that we saw the deer. Like we both, you know, we clicked that night, and she was my trip buddy for like 4 days. It was only supposed to be a 2-day trip down there, and you know, drop some acid, fucking sell some sheets, and come back with a couple thousand, and then buy a Bible, which is 100 hits or 100 sheets, which is
Oh,
10,000
that's
hits.
lingo. Never heard that.
The Bible is 100 sheets of acid.
Dude, you were saying the sun thing, and I was kind of like caught up on that detail. So you're saying that like that it comes in a design too sometimes, like that kind of.
So each paper had a little sun on it, maybe like quarter of an inch by quarter of an inch
Yeah.
square, and it takes 100 of those to make one sheet. And on that one sheet is the main picture. It's like the big picture of what's on the little hits.
That's cool.
It's quite trippy. Um,
It's kind of like it's kind of like doing people's nails, you know, like an attention to detail, caring about your craft. Like that's just a really interesting detail.
Yeah, and those hippies knew how to make some.
You know,
cool
it's not like
It's
not like squirting it out of a ketchup bottle and just getting your fix. Like that's interesting, man. All right, so it's supposed to be 2 days. Hit 4 days. You said a month.
On the second day. Well, so it was actually the next morning. We thought it'd be a great idea to go to Pocatello, and so we loaded up in 2 different cars, and Cherie and Matt were in my car, and I don't remember who was in her car. But we ended up in Pocatello, fucking walked around, tripped out, ended up in this cool little fucking tunnel just outside Pegasus fucking music store.
Okay.
You'd go buying CDs and tapes and records back in the day. But yeah, there was this cool tunnel that went under the fucking road, and we sat in that, and we were kind of scared to go through it, but that was the acid, you know.
Yeah.
Your brain kind of runs away with stupid shit.
Couldn't get through the tunnel, huh?
We couldn't do it at first, and yeah.
What was that like? Can you like shrink that detail for me?
Just a mental block. It was part of the trip.
Really?
Yeah,
just mental.
part of the
It's
trip.
not like it was like widening and gonna swallow you or something like from a movie. Like it was just a head trip. Like I can't do this.
Trip where we're like,
don't go towards the light.
Don't do it. yeah. Stay away from the closet. Don't open that closet.
That's funny.
It was just a psychological buildup of an experience of nothing.
It's like paranoia then, right? Like that's just like
not really paranoia, just a trip. It was just a trip that,
yeah.
You know. Okay, So I firmly believe that children are tripping on acid till the time they're 8. Everything to a child is brand new. The excitement of it is there. It's right in your face, so you know you're going to see tracers. You know, their mentality is that of somebody tripping on acid. Everything is brand new. Brand new.
Makes a lot of sense.
Never
Like that,
seen it like that
that
before.
analogy makes so much sense
Ever.
to me. Or comparison.
You know? And I think that's why it's so easy to trip around kids. And that was one of the first times I did it. Was this time? Was this?
What do you mean by that? It's so easy to trip around kids.
Well, because we were kids at one time, and it was so easy to just revert
Wait, so
back into that.
you're saying kids are trippy?
Kids are trippy.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
And they don't know it, but if you're tripping and you're around kids, you will see it and you'll be like, holy fuck. It really is the innocence of it all. And that's what LSD made me realize was the innocence of everything.
How would you personally like say that really simply? Because what I think of is a detachment of ego, and kind of like the way that I'm saying ego, by the way, like I would say ditching your ego for where I'm currently at for me is bad. I need a healthy ego because realistically I need to like operate to a degree, right?
Well,
So that's what I mean is like if I go pure Zen monk, like
you don't have to stay there in that state forever.
Yeah, but
I thought I was going to stay in that state forever. Because by the second week, I was like, holy fuck, I haven't come down at all, even a little bit. Fucking hair's all crazy, my eyes are all fucking Mansonated. You know?
The mad scientist flow.
I'm all, Ryan, it's never going to stop. I can't fucking sleep.
So wait a sec though. What's that like? If it's so good, but like you're like this isn't gonna stop. Like what's that feeling like? Because you're like,
it's
do you get tired
scary.
of feeling good? Like
you don't feel good after a while. It after a week you really start thinking I have just turned myself into Spicoli. I'm gonna be an idiot the rest of my life, and all I'm gonna want to do is surf and eat food out of the garbage can.
So at that point, did you like you kind of wanted to sober up? Is that
I
a way to
wanted
say
to
it?
sober up. The last 3 weeks of that fucking trip, I wanted to sober up.
Dude, for most of it,
Like
that's
3.5
gnarly.
weeks. Like I said, the first 4 days were fucking cool. But then everybody else came down, and I was still up, you know, and they couldn't hang out with me the rest of my fucking life. Yeah. I was supposed to be to work like 2 days prior.
Went from trip sitter to babysitter.
It went from fun to fucked in 4 days. Because, yeah, everybody else came down, and I was still as high as I was the very first fucking night.
I think
and I was so tired.
I think you're like, if I'm gonna say this kind of crudely and incorrectly, but like your natural mode from all of our conversations is kind of like a stoic thing, where you have kind of like a thicker hide and you know like a reality about the thing. But so like it could be a mental process, but like so if you didn't want to be there in that space for like 3 weeks, how did you cope? Like what was your maybe most like pronounced coping mechanism?
Cocaine. Because I would kind of feel not tripping for a minute, but it came right the fuck back.
Isn't cocaine like kind of a quick burn, like 15 minutes or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you get some really good shit, and you can stay high off a line for like 30 to 40 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Best shit I ever got was...
That's a pretty temporary
was an
escape
hour.
when looking at a month.
Yeah. And expensive. Very expensive, so I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
You know, meth wasn't fucking doing it, which was really weird. Really weird.
You did try.
Oh, yeah. Meth just made my trip dark.
Really?
Really dark, yeah.
What about like what
horrible.
about sleeping during this time frame?
I don't remember sleeping. I know that my brain reset a couple times while I was awake. But I don't remember sleeping.
Never. like laying down on a
I
couch or
remember
bed?
trying to lay down and go to sleep. I remember trying to, but I don't remember if I fell asleep.
Kind of like awake with your eyes closed
Yeah.
thing. Looking at the orange hue of the sun behind your closed lids. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to quit my job. Good thing I had a lot of acid to sell. I mean, because I was able to function there toward the end of the fucking 4 week trip.
Yeah.
And I was able to kind of sell some of the shit that I had. And
As far as being like normal, quote unquote, normal for you, like sober, whatever, not that. What were you kind of like daily lifestyle not able to do anymore? Like, did you?
I couldn't work because the fucking leprechauns wouldn't leave me alone.
Sorry, dude.
I'm just telling you why I couldn't work.
Wait, what? Like
The leprechauns wouldn't leave me alone. They'd fucking come up out of the garbage can. They'd fucking peek their head out of the fucking walk-in freezer. They'd fucking talk to me.
Is that why you eat oatmeal for breakfast? Is because cereal sends you back?
Maybe.
The leprechauns made you not work?
Dude, they wouldn't let me work. And I had no excuse for my bosses on why I was so fucking gone.
Yeah.
You know. Plus, I was a danger around the fucking equipment we had there at the restaurant. Fucking slicers, fucking flat tops, fucking stoves, ovens.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so I think I get the vibe. So I have like maybe 2 checkpoints in my brain. The first one that I'm curious on is kind of like late week 2, 3, 4. You know, is there any like kind of obvious details or big moments that you remember? Like maybe like you fucking fell
No.
down or something. You know what I mean? Like some big thing happened.
No. The only it like I said, it was miserable the last 3 weeks.
So you kind of just like continued in a state.
And when I had finally resigned to the fact that I was never gonna come down and I was never gonna be the me I was before going into this, like right when I had just resigned, that I was gonna be that fucking guy. You know, don't be that guy.
Guy climbing
Like,
stairs for eternity
I
on the
remember,
sidewalk.
I remember going to sleep. I remember waking up and the traces were almost gone, and I kind of started feeling. God, I felt worn out, but I was having moments of clarity, and it just improved from there. And
So you didn't like wake up sober one day. It
No.
kind of like trickled over
it trickled
time.
away.
Do you think you were able to do like what? I'm kind of wondering like during this time frame, did you have like you said sleep was a no, but
don't remember
did you
sleeping.
have normal like other basics like were you drinking liquids? Were you eating?
I was eating.
You know, like the beats of normal routine. Like did you
I
have
wasn't
those?
eating the first 3 days because it just, I don't know, it just didn't work. I couldn't do it the first 3 days, but I could drink. I was still able to drink. I drank a lot of orange juice. Orange juice also intensifies your acid trip, so that probably wasn't a great idea for.
Is that like
going
a
on
chemical
32
thing?
Yeah. Going on a chemical fucking bender for 4 fucking weeks. I probably would have been fine with water.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of orange juice the first couple days, and then water, a lot of beer, a lot of fucking whiskeys.
Were you like just regularly drinking at this time in your life?
Hmm. But yeah, that's when I started drinking whiskey because I wanted to come down off of the LSD, and beer wasn't doing it. Beer was actually not my friend. I hadn't acquired a taste for it yet, and for some reason it always just fucking foamed up in my stomach.
Beer's like you gotta like almost acclimate to it as a beverage of choice, like for sure, because
There's nothing good about
I
it.
mean drinking 10 Pepsis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a lot. So I get that.
I was able to, eat. It was just my conversation was sporadic and made no sense.
Yeah.
Um, People couldn't follow what I was trying to say
Did
because
you make sense to you?
sometimes,
Because obviously it's that and that doesn't like that's just uber stress.
yeah,
Like, it's very stressful.
it was very, very strange. I never want to do that again. I never want to go there again.
Yeah.
You know,
Was that your biggest trip?
that was probably the only bad trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't. I've had stress during trips, but that, I would say would be the only bad trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
But it lasted for 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean like it just like equals like too much.
Too
Just
much.
Too much.
Yeah.
So cool, man. What like just to remind myself like what was the coolest part?
Mm.
And I think we have a thorough understanding of the worst part. But yeah, like what was the coolest part of it? Like you said, the onset few days there was like some
Man,
things, but like
I don't know. There was a lot of cool shit that happened in Pocatello. I got my stomach tattooed.
during this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, my car melted in my hands while I was listening to Cypress Hill, going up over the fucking mountain. That was cool. Um, I put a hole in my speaker and fucking fixed it with nail polish and tissue. That was pretty cool. I traded some guy some of my acid for some of his mushrooms.
I mean, it
I
sounds
know
like
I
you
ate
basically just
mushrooms.
didn't do opiates and you hit the other check marks.
It was a fucking. There was a lot of cool shit. A lot of cool shit happened that first couple days, but after I wanted it to go away and it wasn't going away, there was that sense of panic, that sense of, I don't know. Panic, I guess, is really the best way to explain it, because I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I knew guys like that, and I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be that guy.
Can I point something out that's like kind of interesting to me just after having talked to like other people and kind of like how they process these types of things and stuff?
Mm.
It like the way that you toe the line between negative and positive is super interesting to me. Because if I was to like not talk to you and just have some like information on a piece of paper, say, it would kind of seem like you felt like shit. You sought out drugs as like a self-sabotage, addiction, coping tactic, and then like you have this like huge like big thing. It's like I don't know, it just feels like you don't like I guess for the sake of me not stumbling so much, because I think I'm just trying to like avoid directness, like I can ask you direct questions, right?
Yeah.
Do you actually not think some of the like darker things like that, as far as like, dude, I'm so confused. I sorry, I if I can take just a second, I confused myself because it's like I do this when it's something I kind of like want to take care of. I want to say it right, so I get all like jumbled. Just
I know the problem.
yeah, but I'm trying to get better at it. So thanks for letting me. I feel like when I listen to you, my obvious assumptions about you, like in the categories of what we talk about,
Mm.
you don't say those things out loud. So I don't know if they're part of like you, if that makes sense. So Like when it comes to kind of like dark thought, when you first started talking about the acid, you don't attribute it to escapism. It's just a good thing, like that.
It was something else.
So like hearing that, and I guess where I'm coming from with that like point of view of where I'm dancing around is like I've had a fear of anything bigger than cannabis.
Yeah.
My whole life, and cannabis took time. Alcohol is cultural, so it's kind of different, even though it's kind of on the same level as some other things. But like it seems like scary drugs, whatever. But you just didn't treat it like that.
No, it was.
You don't really like.
I didn't buy into the.
It makes me think of video
the
games
DARE
for me.
program.
Like people say video games are escapism, and I'm like, no, they're not. Never really felt like that. And that's kind of like the feeling I get from you about kind of like the drug field.
Yeah.
Is kind of like
the booze was more of the escape to forget. The drugs were something else.
you kind of get what I'm at, right? Like
Yeah.
it just seems like there's a darkness to drugs from my lens.
Yeah.
And you're kind of shedding that away as
Well, like I said,
it might not feel like that for other people.
We kind of grew up in the same era of school. Like you guys had the DARE program.
Sure, yeah.
That's where a lot of the brainwashing of drugs are bad, and if you do psychedelics, you're gonna have a bad trip and shoot your fucking buddy.
And I kind of think like pharmaceuticals they're just as
worse.
Intense, man. Like
Way
they're
worse.
prone. Like there's that new one of my friends said that they're trying the new ketamine treatment.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but like they basically like it's like fentanyl's this to that, whereas like it's like a brand name, so I can't remember, but it's like S-ketamine, I think is what it was called. So it's like more acute, concentrated, intense, shorter, supervised trip. Like they medicalize it, but it's literally what you're saying. Like
usually, if it's medicalized, it's man-made, so it's not. It's not going to be, it's a fucking horse tranquilizer.
Because there's like ketamine, but now there's S-ketamine, which is technically more, I think like I said, like
more potent.
Potent, that's the word I was struggling for. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like it straight up can actually like by the books be more intense from pharma, but then there's just kind of like alcohol. Like I said, there's just like there's a different. You grow up in
beer and fucking whiskey, beer and wine. The drunk is different. The feeling that you get from beer is different than what you get from wine, which is different than what you get from whiskey, which is different from what you get from your
gins
and tequilas.
Tequila.
And,
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I guess that's really it. Like I'm kind of just doing stories, so thanks for being my first story. 32 hits of acid, lasted a month.
Psychedelics
would not
are the way to go,
recommend.
man. Just don't do 32 at a time.
Sorry, I talked over you. Will you say that again? I said
psychedelics are the way to go. Just don't do 32 hits at a time.
It's cool, man. Hey, thanks, dude.